Okay, we have an oldie but a goodie back on the bench. This is my Fantasy in Lilac Sparkle, and it has been out of the bag since I did the story on it a little while ago, which at the time I didn't really do any work on it. I just kind of talked about it. I took it out today to play it after I'm just going through some guitars playing on them, and I found 16 frets unleveled after I did a full fret job on this thing way back when I first got it. So I removed the neck pickup. Let me show you. I removed the neck pickup and wrapped it in this, and I sort of bunched it on top of the bridge pickup so it wouldn't catch up any filings. Put tape to protect the body, of course. And I started off redoing that with my homemade tool, my 12-inch spade square with my 220 stuck on the bottom of that. That became my level to go back and forth. So starting with that takes off a lot of the coarse points, but then when you get a little bit closer, I decided to do this, and this is something that my buddy J-Man talked about I guess a week or so ago maybe, where he has a bunch of different tools like the KISS that comes from StewMac, that's kind of built like your tool here, and it's thicker, about 1/8 of an inch, and it's got diamond grit in the center of each one of these sections, and he demonstrated how it doesn't work. And there was a few other different tools that I can't remember what he used, and this one's called a KISS apparently. And I saw somebody buy one of these triangular prism crystals a long time ago off of AliExpress, and he did this. Put a piece of sandpaper on it, a couple of layers of masking tape on the side, and it became a KISS tool. Now this triangle cost me about $4 at Prism. And a package of, I use 320 just to do this. And a package of 320 cost me like $6-7, and I guess there's 8 or 9 sheets in that of automotive grade wet dry sandpaper, which is perfect for these frets, especially the nickel ones. Now I've used this piece of sandpaper on here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 frets so far. I think maybe that one I did too, 9. And I just wanted to show it to you because that KISS tool is extremely expensive. For Canadians, it's over $100 Canadian, maybe $150 or more. I can't remember what G-Man said about it from StewMac. But all you got to do is take a piece of sandpaper like that, bend it over the bottom, both corners, bend it, pull it up the sides, and just put a piece of tape on the top to hold it in place. Make sure the corners are nice and square on it. 2 layers of tape that kind of add up to almost the thickness of the sandpaper. And then this runs on the frets beside the one you're trying to get with the centerpiece on the sandpaper. And it's not that hard. You just got to do that. And then you stop, and you check, and you go, okay, let me check. Now this one needs more work. Apparently I didn't stop. I only got up to about there. I have a problem from 12 up, where most of them are. Now the other thing that happens is that you can cut a piece about 1/2 inch, 1 centimeter, and almost 2 centimeters wide. To do all the ones up here, they're pretty easy because you've got a large spacing between the frets. When you get up here, you probably want to cut that half as much to be able to run it on just the fret you're trying to get it on. And all you got to do is stop and check. So this, I got a red here and I got a red there, and they're both high. So first I got to go after this one and that one and see what I can do with it. But doing it with this makes it quite a bit easier than, you know, running across all of them and touching frets that maybe don't really need touching with the speed square. That's okay. So still more here. I'm probably due to change this piece of sandpaper, and I'll show you what I need to do. Okay, so now all I gotta do is take this piece of tape off. If I can get my fingernail to work on it. There we go. So there's one piece of sandpaper. Take my scissors. I'm going to cut this piece in half. I'm going to run that around the edges and just break it square like that. Pull tight. Break the other corner square. Take your tape. Hopefully this one might not be long enough to grab both pieces, or both sides. It isn't. So what I'm going to do now is take another small piece of tape, push it tight, tape it on the sides. Then I can go back after that. And you can hear it, right? When it starts to get smoother and quieter, you know that it's taking the fret down. Oops, it came off. So I didn't have a good bite with my tape on that side. I may have to use a new piece of tape. And keep it squared, straight across. You can feel when it's sanding. When you got an edge that's high, you can get on the edge quite easily with it. Oh, look at that. So that part's good. I'm going to go back to this one. Now I could have gone with the 220. I thought the 220 might be a little bit coarse because the speed square is 220 going that way. And the other nice thing about going this way is it's going with the grain of the fret metal. And that means that you won't have as hard a time when you're trying to recrown them, because if you're going this way constantly, then all the scratches are counter the direction of your fret. And that'll make it harder to get that out all the way to the end where you need to basically smooth it out with steel wool. Okay, I'm just down into the middle. I'm just going to brush off my sandpaper. I took my eyes off of the fretboard. I lost which fret it was. So it's just here in the middle. All right, let's see. How close am I getting? The reason why I went to check was because when I started playing, I bent string 4. it choked out. And then when I started checking, I found all these frets were high. Now, there's one of two or things happened. I did a shit job to begin with. I see a lot of metal powder there, and or sandpaper grit. Let me clean this. And I didn't do a really good leveling job. Or I did, and they became unlevel afterwards anyway. So that's my little demonstration of this tool, made for almost no money. You see how it gets sort of worn out in the middle there? Yeah. And then all you gotta do is put another piece of sandpaper on it. It's not rocket science. Need to change it, you just change it. Bend it, bend it, tape it. That's all there is to it. Put another piece on. Really cheap. I'll get back to you when I get finished with this one. Now that I've done all the sandpapering and the leveling, I just have to finish polishing up to the steel wool and then clean it up and try to put it back together.
I always wanted to play guitar since I was a kid with my dreams set far. Took a couple lessons back in '62, laid it down but the fire never cooled. Whoa, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. Grown and the time felt right, I picked it back up in the late nights. Internet riffs and videos clear gave me hope and brought that sound near. Cheap guitar shine with a little care. Twist and turn, I found magic there. I was a kid with my dreams set far. Took a couple lessons back in '62. Now my hands play the songs I once knew. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, the bending, choking seems to have been resolved. I'm just going to let her sit here for a while, let that neck come in, see if I have to adjust the truss rod at all. And in the meantime, I'm going to go relax. Too bad I broke that high E string though. We'll see how it goes afterwards. But yeah, just want to basically take the opportunity, since I had to do this again, to tell you about this crystal. Just a crystal. That's all it is. Works pretty good. If you are going to start off with a 220, you probably need to go with 3 layers of tape on the ends here, because 220 grit is thicker. So you want it to be almost even. Only the grit is above the tape. So yeah, with the 320, I was able to go with only 2 layers here. 2 layers here, the glare, and it worked fine. Didn't get too deep with the 320. I like that. You could go 400 too if you just got a tiny little bit of something. Just put a 400 on it. You'll be fine. Okay, our lilac needs to be finished cleaning as well. I gotta wax up the backside now again, and I'll check you later. Okay, it's the next day. Let's go. Tuner at the amp. All right, I got her tuned up. And I'm going to turn that on in a second. But what I didn't show you when I was at the bench behind me is that on the nut, when I did this a few years ago, I wasn't doing this back then. But when you have the nut slot, it's kind of cut, you know, like straight across the nut, right? But what I've been doing, especially with these kinds of guitars with the strings going in different directions like that, I put a little opening at the back end like that that allows the string to go one way or the other, so that when it gets back here, there's not a sharp edge that it's kind of hanging up on over there. Rounds it off a little bit, makes for easier tuning, in my opinion. And I do that with these little round files. Buy them on Amazon, AliExpress, anywhere. They're little round files that are been designed as a tool for cleaning the tips of gas jets. And while I was there as well, I also found one of the little fiber washers in the tuning peg here, broken on the A. So I went and found some of that and fixed it up, and they're good. Now these fake Grover that they put on there, that style, I was a bit leery in the beginning, but the posts are really wiggly. They have a tendency for the tuning shaft, if you take the screw out, for the cog to drop out the bottom. But when they're in snug here and you've got tension on the string, the slop is very, very low. So they're good when they're nicely tightened up and tuned as I did with the extra washers and stuff. Change the buttons on this thing. So it's going good. That wasn't what I meant to do. Put my big thumb in there. So when I had this thing built for me, they had advertised this color, and I kind of was attracted to it because, one, I love the color, and it was something that reminded me of, it's kind of a Gretschy color. Yeah, a sparkly Gretschy color. And I think that's another reason why I was attracted to it. But when I had them build one for me without the Gibson on the headstock, I told them, I said, put some decent pickups in it so that I don't have to change them. Well, I think they did. You know. Come on. That was half major and a finger on minor. Now this neck, slightly problematic in that it has a back bow. And it's right in here. And to get the truss rod set good, it's touch and go. Touch and go. Got to keep the tension, and then, you know, kind of like push on it a little bit to get it to go that way. Push it down. So that's one of the problematic things that happened with the guitar. But because of the dual action truss rod, I am actually be able to get it to work. New fret job again. They turned out really good now, again. Nice and shiny. All ready to go back in the box. Well, I'm going to play with it a little bit for a day or two. And then she'll go back in and I'll take out something else. And see what other little updates I might want to, corrections I might make on something else. Because it seems like every time I take something out of a bag, I find something I could do a little bit better. Alright, that's it for now. Thanks for all your support. Catch us in the next one. And if there's no other one between now and Christmas, Happy Christmas to everybody.